So we're going to talk about one of my favorite topics today, which is how to get a lot more of what matters done. How to get a lot more of what matters actually executed and accomplished and making money. So we're not going to talk about how to have better play dates or birthday parties and stuff like that. That's super important. But we're going to talk, and it's a little bit crass when I say it like this, but it's just how to make more money faster. Is that okay? And so that's it. And part of it is kind of based on some stuff about where I think things are going, and some stuff's based on just things that I think are important. That's what I've been really fascinated by for about the last maybe a couple of years, or really a lot the last year, maybe the last few years, is these little things that just make a really big difference. So here's a question. What is the single most important macroeconomic event of our lifetime? Internet is pretty important. But in terms of macroeconomics and demographics and things like that, what's the single most important event in our life? That's right, the globalization of the economy, the emerging middle class in China and India. And so we do WordPress blogs, not in WordPress in English, but in Chinese.
2008年9月9号，欢迎收看今天的午餐帮每日新闻，我是 Brad Fallon。首先 ，Overlay.tv 是一个刚刚启动的网站，它可以让你抓取任何网页视频并新增内容。你能够制作任何视频互动、页面显示广告，甚至包括其他网站的链接。Overlay.tv 简便易用，并且完全免费。
So that's what I've been doing the last few months. Learning Mandarin. Not really. Is Yang here, by the way? Yeah. Thank you, Yang. Yang is the guy that's just graduated as an advertising student, got a master's degree in advertising from Syracuse. He's from China. He's got a buddy over there that pulls down the video I do every day down, takes out the audio track, redubs it in Chinese. And I don't know if you noticed, but he does a pretty good job of it. So, like, he matches my lips. When I say Brad Fallon, he says Brad Fallon. It's not like Godzilla. You know, it's pretty well done. And then he writes the entire blog post in Mandarin, and then he posts it on YouTube and puts that Chinese version up. And then he puts it on the Chinese version of the site hosted in Hong Kong, which is wukenbang.cn, which I just like saying that, wukenbang. The way they do it in China is that a lot of their words are plays on American idioms. So for example, their #1 video site is the Chinese word for potato, as a reference to couch potato. So wukan is like lunch or like lunch, and bang might be the other way. Am I saying that right, Young? Bang is like a group or a clan or a gang or whatever. So it's basically like the free lunch crowd. So we use that for the Chinese version of the Freeline report. It's interesting that James talked about Peter Drucker. A while ago, I turned James onto the world of theory of constraints, or TOC, kind of like I did with Rich Sheffrin a couple years ago, who now teaches some really good classes on some of the thinking processes. Here's something Peter Drucker said that I think is something that we as business owners ought to keep in mind. It's this: the business enterprise has two, and only these two basic functions. All the rest are costs. These are the two functions of a business. Customers is a very good guess. Peter Drucker said the most important job of a company is to get a customer. But in 1971, in People and Performance, he wrote, the business enterprise itself has two basic functions. Who knows what they are? Got it there. Did you say it back there? When I did the same question in Las Vegas, it was a lot more fun because I threw casino chips to the winning answers. We're not doing that here. This is Atlanta. It's the South. It's different than the Vegas events. We don't have as many F-bombs as the California events. We're nice here. So, production sales, very good guess. Gentlemen, guy in the front row has it. It's innovation and marketing. That's it, innovation and marketing. Now, there are classes on how you can innovate, but I don't know what your experience is, but to me, what's the way to have better innovation? Take longer showers. There you go. Aren't you glad you flew to Atlanta for that? I mean, that's what can you say? It's what it really is time and energy and focus and being able to spend more time working on the business instead of in it. So that's good. But it's innovation. But it's marketing. It's marketing and innovation. And of course, the money is in the marketing. So what's the goal? The goal is to be able to get more money with less effort. What is that called? Leverage. It's the little things, the leverage points, if you will, the points of leverage that make all the difference. A lot of you are familiar with this quote. I think it's fascinating. It applies to a lot of what we're going to talk about today. Any sufficiently advanced technology is indistinguishable from magic. Do you guys have the same thing I have? Like, I can be driving home and my phone will ring even if it's in my pocket. Like, how does that happen? Do you ever just think, like, how does that work? It's unbelievable. And that's what these leverage points are like, too, if you think about it. Little things, you just push that button, and huge change is possible. Huge change is possible. It's like the old, story with the old story about the big factory production line, and the one machine breaks down, and multi-million-dollar piece of equipment, stopping everything. They call the guy, come out and fix it, and he comes out and he looks at it and takes out a hammer and taps it twice, and starts back up, and now they're in business. Sends him a bill for $5,000. And the owner's kind of ticked off, and he's, well, what's the deal with this? Oh, I'm sorry, I'll itemize it. $100 for tapping with a hammer, $4,900 for knowing where to tap. And that's what we're going to learn this weekend. We're going to learn places to tap that can have dramatic results. If we own the business, run the business. If we're doing it all ourselves, it's tough. Do you know this quote from Bertrand Russell? He's kind of a communist, but he's a smart guy. He said, work is of two kinds. First, altering the position of matter at or near the Earth's surface relatively to other such matter. Second, telling other people to do so. The first is unpleasant and ill-paid. The second is pleasant and highly paid. Isn't that great? I like that. So there's stages that we go through of leverage. And what we're going to talk about today is where to focus. Everyone says focus. Great. Super. Good advice. Focus. Focus on what? That's what we're going to talk about. On this exponential growth curve. By the way, if you're running a business, how many businesses can you run effectively? Being a CEO, being the top of the ship, being at the top of the food chain is sort of a full-time job, 40, 50, 60 hours a week. I mean, that's just the way it is. If you had a business that you own and you're going to hire somebody to run it, would you say, do 20, 25 hours a week, just work on the important stuff and it'll be great. It's not like that. How many businesses can you own? A lot. So the trick is to own a business, and that's kind of the difference between BradFallon.com versus StomperNet. If I say to you, product launch formula, who do you think of? If I say mass control, who do you think of? If I say strategic profits, butterfly marketing, StomperNet, Andy, Brad, faculty, the moderators, all of us, I don't know. Not so much Brad from day one. I'm not one of these guys who had to go try, I've got to get a name off so the company be worth something. I said, I think a year ago, or maybe a year and a half ago when I spoke, that the idea is that Brad could get hit by a bus, and the company and the community and everything that we built together would not blink. So that's the difference of having something that's of value. So where is the leverage in a business? Where's the leverage in a business in general? Having other people do stuff. That's kind of the trick. By the way, this is from a pretty good book, and it's kind of a funny title, so it might kind of put you off. I bought it in a Chicago bookstore with a bunch of other books, and I never, okay, whatever, it's interesting.